To be vulnerable. Did you know the dictionary description of the word vulnerable is to being exposed to the possibility of being attacked, harmed, or hurt, either physically or emotionally? It's quite a dramatic description, that, isn't it, of the word vulnerable? But vulnerability for me is one of those key things we almost have to learn if we want to make a change. And especially, I think it's vitally important that we talk about vulnerability, that we open up to the word vulnerable in men's health. Now, let me explain. I have been on a real journey, and it took me a long time to realize that I had to become vulnerable for me to move forwards. Even by doing this now, what I do now, I put myself out there. I deal with a lot of people within coaching at senior level and elite level, and I don't feel vulnerable in front of them. And the weird thing is, I probably should feel more vulnerable when working with them because I'm exposed. They are elite level at what they do. They are elite level in business. They are elite level in sport, in life. And I couldn't do what they do. I couldn't run a business like some of my clients run, and I certainly couldn't play sport at the level my sporting clients work at. So I should be almost vulnerable, but I'm not, because I've realized vulnerability to me was about what I was ashamed of, who I was and what I'd become and what I stood for. And for many, many years, through building a business that made me very successful, I never enjoyed. But what it did, I put a cloak around me, my recruitment business, my 200 plus staff, my Range Rover, my nice house, and all those, and the money and the status I held in business, because I'd got a cloak around me, because I was almost less vulnerable. I wasn't showing any vulnerability because had made it. I was who I was, and people looked at me and thought, he's amazing. Look what he's done. And I had, plaudits of people saying, yeah, well, how amazing you built that business. But inside I was breaking. Inside I was absolutely cracking every single day, physically and mentally. And then I ran into the world of alcohol, and alcohol took me away from that fear, took me away from the unhappiness, and it gave me a world where I could pretend to be somebody else, and not pretending to anybody else. It was pretending to the person inside, pretending to my mind that I was something else. But I had to get sober. Now, the first moment you start getting sober, you have to almost expose yourself to vulnerability, to criticism, to harm, not physical harm, but to harm from others. Because if you are going to get sober, you have to acknowledge you are an alcoholic. Alcoholics come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. They're not just people who sit on a park bench drinking vodka, let me tell you. Not every alcoholic. I'd worked with some alcoholics now, and you wouldn't know. They're called functioning alcoholics. Lots of people who have alcohol addictions you don't know. The people closest to them know, but lots of other people don't know, because they're phenomenally good at not showing any vulnerability. They manage it, and it's an act. But what I'm talking about with vulnerability, we have this thing at the moment where men's health is massive, and so it bloody well should be. But we're telling men to talk. But I get very frustrated with the getting men to talk phrase. Now, I don't disagree with it. Of course I don't, because men have got to talk. But for them to talk, they've got to learn two things. They've got to learn the tools to talk to themselves first. People want them to go to groups. Okay, I'm not knocking the groups. I'm not knocking this. I'm not knocking that. I'm just telling you from where I sit and how I created my own world, and much more positive world, and created a new life for myself. And that wasn't going to groups. Now, I talk to groups now, strangely enough. But the message I give them is that what you've got to do, you've got to talk to yourself. You've got to learn tools. And I'm constantly talking about get outside into the environment, go and do some exercise. Exercise is so important. And I'm not talking about doing the type of exercise I do of running 100-kilometer runs and things like that. You could get there, but it's about getting outside and doing some exercise, because the endorphins and all the medical, just Google it. Google the science of what exercise can do to you mentally and what it does to your body. So I'm always talking about getting outside. So that's the first thing I talked about, especially with men again, about getting outside and coming out the other side of really, really talk. But then you've got to talk to yourself, and you have to talk to yourself in a positive way. To do that, You have to first show some vulnerability. You have to almost expose yourself to yourself. You have to accept who you are. Now, your conscious and your subconscious brain, we're not going to go too scientific on this one, but you'll come into conflict with yourself. You'll go, I need to change. And I need to change because I'm not happy on who I am. I need to change because this is not going where I want it to go. I need to change because I want a different life. Now, that is almost exposing yourself to some vulnerability because you are going to criticize yourself. I know it sounds strange, but if you really think about it, that's what it is. Now, I worked really hard at that, and I got very good at that, about exposing myself to who I was. I was a failure in the fact that an alcohol had got hold of me. Now, I don't see that as a negative thing to say. Some people would. I got addicted to alcohol, and because that's my nature, that's my DNA, that is ADHD and all those things, but I did. But I had to accept that I was an alcoholic. That is showing vulnerability. Then I had to go to the outside world and accept I was an alcoholic. And that was a massive jump for me because I knew I was going to get criticized. I knew people were going to judge me, and I knew it was going to infect who I was. And it did. Let's not live in this bubblegum world now of when you eventually accept that alcohol is an issue and you go to the public. Now, people close to you will be supportive. They will be challenged but supportive. But the other people will talk about you behind your back. It's fact. Don't worry about it because, as I say, don't ever worry about other people's opinions of you. So vulnerability is about exposing yourself to where you are and what you're going to do. But then if you really want to move forward, you've got to learn to be vulnerable externally, where other people are going to say things, other people are going to judge you, but other people are going to treat you differently, because you've got to open up. It's not opening up your brain. You're opening up your brain to yourself, but you've got to open up your heart to other people. And that is going to bring criticism. That is going to expose you because you are taking off the cloak. If you wear a cloak, you feel less vulnerable, but I can tell you the cloak's not helping you. The vulnerability sits inside. You got to let it out. You got to go out. And I do things like this. I'm a 50-odd-year-old bloke with a big nose who talks about motivation, mindset, and whatever. And, if you've ever got 2 minutes in your life, you should go and look at my TikTok or YouTube and see some of the comments that usually from grown men, believe it or not, usually from grown men who are hypercritical of who I am and my big red nose or whatever. Now, that is almost, that could be classed as a social attack on me, and therefore I'm vulnerable. I'm now so far down that path. I am so passionate about what I do now. It's a strange one for me because I genuinely mean, and this isn't me just saying this, I genuinely mean it doesn't affect me anymore. It literally makes me smile. And there's the ironic seesaw on this one, is that if I go out and I put a post out there that is about alcohol or is about mindset or is about motivation or is about running or whatever, and I sit and somebody comments about my big red nose and you are talking shit, Cliff, blah, blah, blah. The weird thing is I can smile at it and think, oh, okay, thanks, keyboard warrior, for that. But actually, they're doing me a favor because the more they comment, the more it triggers the algorithm that people are interested in what I'm saying, whether it be good or bad. And it actually creates more content for me, and it actually puts the content I put into a bigger audience. That means more people are looking at it. That means more people then are going to look at other stuff and maybe buy my books and buy my program. So literally, I've flipped it completely. If you want to criticize me, knock yourself out because you're doing me a favor. But I'm sorry, I'm talking about vulnerability here. So being vulnerable is what I'm saying is don't be afraid of it. But what I do get frustrated at is that people give the impression that becoming vulnerable will end all problems. It won't. Getting sober doesn't end all problems. It doesn't. It's just the start. But you can't get to recovered, you can't get to success, you can't get to authenticity without first going through that painful barrier of being vulnerable. Being vulnerable doesn't need to be a truly negative thing. It doesn't need to be something that you are frightened of. It needs to be something you are aware of that's coming, but actually, I call that scarring. Some of the people I deal with, and I deal with, as I say, I deal with all sorts of people. The ones who are truly authentic now, the ones who are truly successful, the ones that are truly making it in life, financially, sport, or just emotionally, 99.9% of them, I don't think it's far off 100%, have scars. Not physical scars, but mental scars, emotional scars, because they've been through a really, really, really tough time, and they had to become vulnerable to get to the other side. I had to become incredibly vulnerable, incredibly criticized. And I carried a load of shame through who I was, through and alcohol hid it all for me. I got sober. And then it wasn't all bubblegum and flowers from me. It actually, my mental health got worse because I was open. I wasn't able to drink and hide it all. And my mental health spiraled because I had to learn new tricks, new skills, new habits to get myself the other side. My point is, here I am, a bloke, 50-odd-year-old, who's out there on social media, who speaks across, who works with super people, but who speaks across the globe now about mindset, mental health. I'm on my fourth book now, which is fabulous for me. But I'm just a normal bloke. And I am still vulnerable. I still put myself out to be vulnerable. Why? Because I want to show people it's okay. I want to, if I can trigger one person, two people, and I'm obviously looking for bigger volumes than that, but genuinely, if I can trigger one person with this one video to go, okay, if he did, I can. It's a phrase I use an awful lot now. He did, I can. I did. I was broken. I made a fortune and I was living the life of Riley, but fundamentally unhappy. But then it all fell apart, but it was always meant to fall apart, I think. And maybe I drove that. I'll talk about chasing rock bottom on another video. I wasn't intentionally chasing rock bottom. Now I look back, I think I probably was subconsciously chasing rock bottom. But I hit rock bottom, and rock bottom for me wasn't about being an alcoholic. It wasn't about losing the business. It was about being a step away from really, really seriously taking my own life. And um, I say that very openly now, but I don't suggest it's the right idea. I think for the grace of God or whoever it might be or whatever the universe was, I'm not a stat. And that's why I do what I do, because I'm not that stat. I can come out and talk. I can come out and be criticized. I can come out and laughed at. I can come out and be all those things that people who want to sit in a room and criticize me or openly criticize me, that's okay. Because I genuinely believe by me showing vulnerability, by me doing what I do, might just trigger one, two, three, 10 people, and mainly based at men there. And I'm not excluding women, but I'm a man and I know how a man thinks. So it's easier for me to talk about that with real conviction. Um, because I've learned and I've had to learn and I continually learn. I'm recovered from alcohol. I don't class myself as a recovering alcoholic because I don't believe in the phrase. I'm recovered. I don't drink, not drunk for 6 years, and I don't want to drink, and I'm not going to drink. So I'm recovered. But again, it's another book that comes that I'm called Recovered, not Recovering, because I got myself there. Now, do I still have issues in life? Of course I do. I'm a single parent of a 16-year-old daughter, and any single person who may not be a single parent who has a 16-year-old daughter, let me tell you, they know what hard work is. They know what challenges. They know that you don't know what's coming every day, but you know it's coming. But you learn to deal with it. You learn to be the best version of yourself so you can inspire, engage, and hopefully take that young lady on a journey that she can then go off and do what she wants to do. That's my mission in life. One of my key missions is to help her become who she truly, authentically should be. That's why I have to be vulnerable. And she sees me being vulnerable. She sees me being vulnerable some days when it's tough, when I have to just put my trainers on and get out. But I'm not afraid of being vulnerable. That's the point of this 10, 15, 20 minutes me talking. It's just another bloke who's out there, who lives in the UK, who's building a life, who isn't financially free, who isn't living the life of Riley, but is living a truly authentic life now, because I believe I'm making a difference to lots of people. And that is obviously really important to me. But what's really important to me, I make a difference to myself, but I'm not afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is a word that sounds very aggressive, sounds very negative, but when you hold it and learn it and work with it, it can be a positive thing. You can take it and you can move forward with it and you can be comfortable with it. You have to be ready what might come. But that's okay, because lots of criticism and things will come. That is life. But you just go on from there. So that was the point of this video, just to go, yeah, here I am. I had to show deep vulnerability to get where I am today, having crashed. But now I'm rebuilding in life. But do not sit and look at me like I'm some pop star, superstar that's not vulnerable. I'm vulnerable every single day, but I work with it. I coach myself with it. I have habits to deal with it. And I'm getting the right side of it as well. So don't be afraid, but don't hide. Don't be something you don't want to be. Find your true, authentic self and just keep going. That is it for me. And just to show how real these videos are, I'm now 15 minutes into a video and my dog in the other room will start barking, but I'm not going to edit it. I'm not going to start again and take that out because this is real. This is a real bloke, not sat in his studio at home, living the real world with his daughter and his dogs. So that's real. Is that me being vulnerable? Probably not, but it's my dog being bloody annoying. So there you go. That's me for a day. Have a great day. Always just keep watching what I'm doing because I'm trying to share what I truly believe in and what I'm truly coaching at the top level, because I want to share my coaching, my thoughts, my help, my motivation to everybody, because we all deserve to be helped and coached and worked with. Take care. Have a great day.